Welcome to today's presentation on the CACFP At-Risk Meals Program. My name is Bridget Russi, and I will be your presenter for today's training. If you have any questions throughout this presentation, please feel free to contact me via phone or email. In this webinar, we will discuss an overview of the At-Risk Meals Program, including its benefits and the basic requirements to participate. By the end of this webinar, we want you to be able to describe the purpose of the At-Risk Meals Program, identify benefits of the program to participants and staff, and explain the basic requirements of the program's operation. The At-Risk Meals Program is a component of the CACFP, or Child and Adult Care Food Program. It is a USDA federally funded program that is administered by the New Hampshire Department of Education. Agencies who operate the program receive federal dollars via the Department of Education to provide nutritious meals free of charge to children aged 18 and younger. If a child turns 19 during the school year, meals may be claimed until the school year ends. The program provides meals to all children, however, primarily targets low-income areas or programs serving primarily low-income children. The at-risk after-school component only operates during the regular school year. You can also offer these meals on the weekends, holidays, or breaks during the school year. Next, we'll cover the benefits of participating in the At-Risk Meals Program. The program combats hunger and food insecurity by providing free meals and snacks. Children may be eating lunch early in school, they're busy with activities after school, and parent work schedules might mean they're not able to cook dinner until late. Therefore, students need meals and snacks after school. The program supports overall operations for schools, meal sponsors, and after-school programs by providing reimbursement for meals and snacks. The program is flexible in meal options, meal service times, locations, and partners. And finally, the program ensures children have the nutrition they need to stay engaged in after-school programming. Offering after-school meals can increase attendance at programs, can help to improve behavior, help children remain focused, and offer a perk for parents who may not be able to provide a meal until later due to work schedules. USDA provides funding for the program and sets requirements for meals and snacks. State agencies administer the program and communicate with both USDA and sponsors. Sponsors are organizations that oversee after-school care centers. Schools, local government agencies, camps, faith-based, and other nonprofit community organizations may be sponsors. Sponsors communicate with the state and get reimbursed for meals and snacks served in their after-school programs. At-risk after-school care centers, or RARSs, are places where children and teens participate in an after-school program. They can be located in many types of places, such as schools, libraries, or community centers. Centers may participate in CACFP at-risk independently or under a sponsoring organization that manages multiple programs. To participate, programs must meet the following eligibility requirements. They must provide drop-in or enrolled programming during the after-school hours, on weekends, holidays, and/or school vacations, such as spring break during the regular school year. This programming must occur in an organized, structured, and supervised environment. The program must provide an educational or enrichment activity, such as homework help, tutoring, supervised athletic activities, drama, or chess. Although an activity must be offered, children are not required to participate in the programming. The program must be located in an attendance area of a public school building with a school eligibility percentage of 50% or more. The ONPS team can help you determine which sites in your area would be eligible. School data is valid for a period of 5 years. So once a center qualifies based on school data, it would be eligible for the remainder of the 5-year period, even if the school closes during that period. Finally, the program is open to all children and youth. The program is open to children and teens who are 18 years of age or under at the beginning of the school year. No enrollment is required, and no income information or other individual eligibility information is required. Similar to other child nutrition programs, CACFP At-Risk Meals Program requires a number of program requirements, including training, monitoring, civil rights, record keeping, financial management, and meal service. If a site is not licensed, it must meet local health and safety standards. As part of the annual application, a fire inspection report and letter from city or county health department must be uploaded. However, this does not apply to school food authorities that participate in the National School Lunch Program and School Breakfast Program operating the CACFP at the school. CACFP regulations do permit flexibilities for sponsors of at-risk after-school program sites that participate in the NSLP and/or Summer Food Service Program, or SFSP. This includes training and monitoring requirements. For example, food service staff at-risk after-school sites who receive meal service training under the NSLP and/or SFSP are not required to attend separate CACFP training on meal services. At-risk meal programs must maintain daily attendance records of the participants attending their sites. If a site does not maintain an attendance roster, meal counts must be taken by participant name. Therefore, the meal counts recorded by name are the attendance records. Monitoring requirements in the CACFP are only applicable to sponsoring organizations. In other words, this is not required if you are an independent agency or a CACFP agency operating one site. Monitoring includes completing a pre-operational visit at each site prior to participation and 3 reviews at each site throughout the year. It is recommended that staff who monitor a site do not regularly work at the site. For example, the site supervisor of a site should not complete monitoring reviews at their own site. Since the purpose of monitoring is to ensure the CACFP is effectively managed at each site, the site supervisor may not know what or if they are doing something incorrectly. If possible, it's recommended to designate the same person to complete all monitoring reviews for individual sites to ensure consistency among sites. This may be someone such as a nutrition coordinator or administrator. Monitoring staff must receive training on CACFP requirements annually. Pre-op visits are required for sites that are new to the CACFP, sites that move to new locations, or sites that close for more than a month. The pre-op is not required for school food authorities if the site participates in the NSLP or SFSP. The pre-op visit must be completed prior to the beginning of CACFP operation. This is to ensure the site is equipped to operate the CACFP and document that site staff with CACFP responsibilities have been trained on program requirements. Participants or staff are not required to be present during the pre-op visit since the visit must be completed prior to the start of the CACFP operation. For CACFP, a minimum of 3 site reviews must be conducted each year at each site. The review year is considered to be the federal fiscal year, October 1 through September 30th. At least 2 of the annual reviews must be unannounced, so no prior notification to the site, and at least 1 of these unannounced reviews must include the observation of a meal service with participants present. In order to count as a meal observation review, the monitor must observe the entire meal service time. All rooms where meals are served should be visited at some point during the meal service time. The timing of the unannounced reviews must vary so they are unpredictable to the sites. In addition, no more than 6 months may elapse between these reviews. For new sites and sites that move locations, the first review must be completed within the first 4 weeks of operation. For school food authorities participating in the National School Lunch Program, an additional flexibility exists in which the second CACFP review can be conducted during the NSLP review that is due before February 1st. However, both forms must be completed. Sites that participate on the CACFP and SFSP must complete 2 CACFP site reviews per federal fiscal year. The monitoring review required for SFSP can fulfill that third review requirement for CACFP. Sponsors are expected to conduct follow-up visits for any serious deficiencies or issues that were identified during a site review to ensure that permanent corrective action has been implemented. The monitor must document everything on the site monitoring forms, including technical assistance, training provided, and corrective actions taken immediately or noted during the follow-up visit. When non-compliance is noted during a site review or a site's claim raises concern about non-compliance, the sponsoring organization must conduct a follow-up visit to investigate and resolve the issue. The methods for following up may vary depending on the nature of the concern. Follow-up methods may be one or more of the following: conduct an additional unannounced follow-up review, documentation must show what corrective action was taken, a more detailed examination of the site's claim information submitted for previous months. Agencies and schools participating in the CACFP are required to demonstrate financial viability, maintain a nonprofit food service account, and manage funds according to federal and state requirements. The CACFP annual application requires that all agencies submit an administrative plan that includes an annual CACFP budget, with the exception of schools. The budget assists the agency with planning for the upcoming program year by projecting the expenses that will be funded directly with CACFP reimbursement, such as food and kitchen supplies and operational food service labor. The budget will also assist in planning for how much additional non-program income will be needed to fund the costs not covered with the earned reimbursement. All line items that are funded with CACFP reimbursement must be approved by ONPS. If necessary, a budget can be amended anytime throughout the program year. Since agencies and schools are reimbursed for the number of meals served to eligible participants, it is possible that the actual cost of providing meals is less than the total reimbursement received. If federal funds remain at the end of the program year, these must either be kept for programs use the following year or transferred into another USDA Child Nutrition Program account, such as NSLP, School Breakfast Program, or SFSP, administered by the same agency or school. Occasionally, agencies may receive private donations or grants to help in funding their CACFP. These are considered income to the program and must be retained in the food service account. Public schools must be tracked separately from other child nutrition programs. In other words, use your internal accounting system to track revenue and expenses by program. A separate bank account is not required. All creditable food items, as well as food and supplies purchased for non-federal programs, must be non-program foods. Oftentimes, SFAs will purchase CACFP foods at the same time as NSLP or using leftovers from NSLP. SFAs administering multiple child nutrition programs must use an allocation supported by actual figures. This allocation can be applied to total food, non-food, and kitchen staff labor costs to get the actual amount to charge to each respective child nutrition program. I'm going to discuss 2 acceptable methods to allocate costs between multiple child nutrition programs. First, the percentage method. Base the allocation on the number of common meals served, calculated as a percentage. So for example, 100 lunch or supper meals are served, 80 lunches are served for NSLP, and 20 suppers are served for CACFP. Then 80% of the costs of food, non-food, and labor are charged to the NSLP, and 20% of these costs are charged to the CACFP. ONPS recommends calculating this percentage monthly, as the percentage will be determined by the total number of meals verified on the NSLP and CACFP claims. Cost allocation cannot be applied to the following: Foods that are not allowable in the CACFP, such as grain-based desserts or cereal over the CACFP sugar limit, these costs cannot be charged to the CACFP. They must be deducted from the total food costs prior to allocating costs to the CACFP and NSLP. Direct expenditures for NSLP and or CACFP. These must be handled as a direct expense. Administrative labor costs. These must be actual time spent and must be tracked accordingly, either by using the daily time log form or a similar method. Second, the cost method. So you'll base the allocation on the cost of the meal served. This would require an internal vendor agreement to set a price per meal to determine the CACFP expenses. A monthly invoice supports the cost of the meals that are charged to the CACFP. This method is most commonly used when a school food authority administers a child care center. Allowable CACFP costs are associated with the consumable food supplies purchased to be used for reimbursable meals. Unallowable cost items would be non-creditable foods such as grain-based desserts, ice cream, and pudding. And it's recommended that 40 to 50% of your CACFP reimbursement be used towards food costs. This item would also include the cost of meals purchased from a licensed vendor. Importantly, if there is no documentation to support a cost for the program, do not use CACFP funds to pay for it. For example, appropriate support documentation for the cost of food supplies would include actual dated and itemized receipts and or invoices. You must show the method of payment or account code charged. Commingled receipts must have food purchased for CACFP highlighted or marked. For a contracted food vendor service expense, you should maintain daily order and daily slips, monthly invoices of number of meals delivered, and monthly menus. For labor expenses, timesheets and payroll records must be kept on file. If the employee works in other areas of the agency or on other child nutrition programs, a log of the number of hours worked on job responsibilities specifically for the CACFP must accompany the timesheet. Only those CACFP hours can be paid with CACFP funds. For excess funds, when an SFA incurs a surplus balance at the end of the school fiscal year in any of the federal child nutrition programs, so CACFP, SFSP, school breakfast, special milk program, or the National School Lunch Program, the balance must be retained in the respective USDA Child Nutrition Program nonprofit food service account. These funds may only be used to improve the quality of that specific child nutrition program. So for example, CACFP, or to offset expenditures incurred in the other child nutrition programs like the NSLP. Under no circumstances can this balance be transferred out of the nonprofit food service account or be used to offset the cost of non-USDA food service programs such as a la carte. All CACFP agencies must display the And Justice for All poster developed by USDA in a prominent place at each site. Sponsoring organizations, so agencies or schools with more than one site participating on the CACFP, must prominently display the poster in its administrative office as well as at the site participating on the CACFP. Include the non-discrimination statement and instructions for filing a complaint in all materials made available for public information, education, or distribution, which specifically reference the facility's CACFP or at-risk participation and or CACFP requirements. This includes parent handbooks or policies and websites, including when the CACFP meal pattern is referenced within nutrition policies. The shortened version, this institution is an equal opportunity provider, may be used only if the print material is 1 page or less and there isn't enough room for the full version. The full version can be found on the link on the screen. All staff who interact with the program participants and those who supervise these staff must receive training on all aspects of civil rights compliance annually. If staff receive civil rights training through the NSLP or the SFSP, that training may be used to fulfill the CACFP requirements. Topics to be included in the civil rights training include What is discrimination? Collecting and recording racial and ethnic data, where to display posters, what is a civil rights complaint, and how to handle a civil rights complaint. Additional civil rights requirements to keep in mind include providing informational materials and the appropriate translation concerning the availability and nutritional benefits of CACFP at-risk meals. Additionally, you must make reasonable modifications in policies and procedures to ensure individuals with disabilities have equal access and effective communication when accessing the program, and ensure that all children have equal access to services and facilities at the site, and that meals are served to all attending children, regardless of their race, color, national origin, sex, age, or disability. This chart shows a side-by-side comparison between the after-school snack program under the National School Lunch Program and the at-risk meals program under the CACFP. This list is not all-encompassing, but rather provides a snapshot to some key differences to consider. For example, the at-risk meals program can be operated by a non-SFA. However, the at-risk agency must qualify by being located within a school attendance area with a school eligibility percentage of 50% or more. The after-school snack program can operate in both area eligible and non-area eligible sites, the only difference being in reimbursement rates. In an area eligible after-school snack program where there is 50% or greater free and reduced eligible students, each snack is claimed at the free reimbursement rate. In a non-area eligible after-school snack program where there's less than 50% free and reduced eligible students, each snack is claimed free, reduced, or paid based on the student's classification. As a reminder, all at-risk meals are served under the free rate. The after-school snack program serves a snack only on days school is in session and does not utilize offer versus serve, contrary to the at-risk meals program. An adult supervised enrichment activity recording meal counts, menus, production records, and many other requirements are similar between programs. One supper and/or 1 p.m. snack may be served after the end of each school day as part of an approved after-school program on regular school days. On non-school days, any one meal, including breakfast, lunch, or snack, may be served. This includes weekends, holidays, and school vacations. Do keep in mind that the purpose of the CACFP at-risk component is to allow for after-school programs to serve an after-school meal and snack to children as part of the enrichment or education activity. SFAs may choose to use the NSLP and school breakfast meal pattern requirements or the CACFP meal pattern. Program payments are based on the number of meals per meal type multiplied by the free rate of reimbursement. If choosing to follow the CACFP meal pattern, it's important to be aware of the differences between the NSLP, SBP, and CACFP. The CACFP meal pattern requires components and serving size by age rather than grade. For example, serving size varies between ages 1 and 2, 3 through 5, 6 through 12, and 13 through 18. The CACFP meal pattern has no sodium limit, no weekly minimum amounts, and no vegetable subgroup requirements. Additionally, a reimbursable snack includes 2 of the 5 components. Only one component at snack must be a beverage. Offer versus serve is utilized slightly different in the CACFP and is not allowed for snacks. The meal pattern outlines minimum quantities of the food components, including fluid milk, vegetables, fruits, grains, and meat and meat alternates that are required to be served. Programs may choose to serve a larger quantity if nutritionally appropriate. The full CACFP meal pattern is linked at the bottom of the screen. For more information regarding the CACFP meal pattern, meal production, including completing production records, and meal planning, please refer to the CACFP meal production PowerPoint posted on the ONPS webpage. A reimbursable meal is one that is served to children 18 and under, a meal that is counted at the point of service. This is the point in which a child has received a complete and reimbursable meal. A reimbursable meal requires a record-keeping requirement in which a system tracks the children who attend your at-risk after-school program, meets meal pattern requirements, and finally, that children are eating the meal at the approved site. The at-risk after-school component does not allow for meals to be claimed when students are on summer break. Therefore, CACFP agencies who wish to serve meals in the summer months can apply for the summer food service program. Any site that qualifies as an at-risk site will qualify for the SFSP. The USDA encourages participation in both the at-risk program and SFSP in order to serve the community year-round. Thank you for attending today's training, and please reach out to our office if you have any questions.